The topic at hand is active euthanasia, where the physician has a direct part in the patient's aided suicide. The practice of active euthanasia creates so many rational fears and issues of control that it should be banned on a federal level in the United States. From the Founding Fathers, we have the Declaration of Independence, essentially freeing us from England's oppressive rule and allowing American citizens to have some sort of sovereignty over themselves. In the United States, we have the right to control our own lives, freely. This very same sovereignty extends into medicine. Patients have the right to control what goes into their body and decide which treatments they will or will not accept. This right to choose extends even onto death. Just as we have the right to live, we have the right to die. No human should have the power to dictate how another human being should live their life. But when does this right to die become a duty to die? Let's take a look at healthcare. There will be a shift in day-to-day medicine. Once euthanasia becomes the norm, it will be prescribed accordingly. Slowly, a mindset that disvalues life will be adopted. We naturally follow the path of least resistance. When posed with killing off a terminally ill patient or thinking of new methods to keep them alive, it's always easier to resort to the easier alternative.
Assisted suicide would have a negative effect on health policy. In Oregon, in separate cases, Barbara Wagner and Randy Stroop both applied to the Oregon State Health Plan Medicaid for payment for the treatment of their illnesses. Both requests were denied. Medicaid did, however, kindly offer to pay for their suicides.
Her doctor offered hope in this bottle, the new chemotherapy drug Tarceva.
Like my doctor said, maybe this can put the lid on it and stop it.
That hope shattered with this letter from the Oregon Health Plan telling her we were unable to approve the cancer treatment. It will pay for comfort care, including physician aid in dying, better known as assisted suicide. Chemotherapy drugs like Tarceva cost $4,000 a month. Drugs for assisted suicide cost less than $100.
Her health insurance company basically told her, "We value your death more than we value your life." Is this what we want healthcare to become?
Neither Wagner nor Stroop had any choice over the decision. The state was effectively steering them towards their death.
And that brings us to the issue of control. Would the patient truly be the only one deciding their death?
And you'll hear from proponents of euthanasia that their bill is a better bill than the ones we've had before because it includes so-called safeguards against abuse. Yet Dutch figures show that consent, as Sarah mentioned, was not obtained in something like 1 in 5 reported euthanasia cases. The figure may be even higher considering the fact that it's estimated that 20% of all euthanasia cases in that country are not reported anyway. In Flemish Belgium, it's around 32% of cases. Here we're talking about people in a comatose state, people with dementia perhaps, Alzheimer's, and in 8% of cases, people for whom the doctors themselves decided that it would have been too harmful to discuss their euthanasia with the patient.
In cases like that, the doctors themselves decide if the patient lives or dies. Obviously, cases of involuntary euthanasia are rare, but this does not mean that all voluntary euthanasia cases are of pure free will. This introduces the matter of pressure. The abuse of euthanasia results in patients being bullied into suicide. The possible borderline want to die becomes the definite duty to die. Patients can feel as if they are a burden, a financial, a social, or mental burden on themselves and their families.
We have a tradition in this country to allow patients to deny care, but we've never allowed physicians to actively take somebody's life. That's not the practice of medicine.
That's not the practice of medicine. Is this the future we want, where we fear abuse, pressure, and control from the very physicians we are supposed to trust? When we send our loved ones to the hospital, how do we know we aren't sending them to their death? If this is legalized, we will not be in control. When it comes to euthanasia, choice is an illusion.